نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Welcome to all of you once again, sisters. I'm really happy to see all of you being persistent after the 2 weeks as well. I hope that all of you had a wonderful weekend, inshallah, right? So, after the weekend, I hope that you remember some of the rules that we did, right? Because today is going to be like the 10th session of Surah Mulk, and yes, we will be doing the 10th ayah of Surah Mulk today. But we did certain rules as well, right? Of the Tajweed. So this course of Surah Mulk is not primarily for the Tajweed rules, right? Because there are so many of them. But I'm just focusing on certain basics of Tajweed. So for that matter, we did like 7 rules, right? The first 4 rules that we did were of Noon Sakin and Tanween. And after those rules, we did the 3 rules of Meme Sakin, right? So that sums up to like 7 rules that we did. And after that I was just thinking that what should we be doing next. So yes, I have figured it out that doing we will be doing how to do work or take a pause, right? Taking a break in the middle of the ayah to breathe or at the end of the ayah, right? So whenever we are reciting Quran, so for all of us, we have like different a difference in for how long we can hold our breath, right? When we are reciting the ayah, we all have like different capacities to hold our breath. So, what happens that whenever we are reciting, it is not like we just take casual pauses in the ayah, like at the middle of the ayah or at the end of the ayah. There is always, there is always some, you know, a way of doing that, like proper way of doing that. Okay, you cannot just casually do, like taking casually do the pauses and take breaks in the ayah or at the end of the ayah, right? For that matter, you will have to look at the word you are taking a pause at, and specifically at the not only to the word but the last letter of that word. Okay, so yes, we will just take a quick look at this. Okay, there are like different ways how we can do that, but I have just summed up to a few of those, okay, which you will need very much. So yes, these are very simple ones. We can just do them quickly, inshallah, and then we will move on to our ayah 10 of today. Okay, so yes, as you can see, how to do waqf or take pause in the middle of the ayah or at the end of the ayah. So the first way is like the first category you can say is that when you are uh, taking a break at a word which is already sakin, okay, which is already sakin. All of you know that what sakin means, right? The any letter which has this sakin symbol on it, it means that it does not have any it does not have any sound for that matter. That letter will be read with the previous one, right? So yes, if you are taking a break at any word which ends with a sakin on it, so that will remain sakin. So I haven't written examples here. So what we did first is that if we are taking a break at any word which ends with a sakin, so what we will do, we will keep that letter sakin. Okay, so let's see from the example here. For example, if you are just thinking of taking a break, this is Surah Mulk I have opened, and this is the ayah number 4. So, for example, this verse, if you are taking a break at this word here, because you feel like taking a break because you're out of breath, right? So you want to take a break. If you are like taking a break at this word, you will say karrataini yanqalib, right? This word has the last letter of this word is already sakin. This ba letter here is sakin, so we will just keep this word sakin, like yanqalib, like this. Very simple. Okay, so let's see the second. Okay, if we are taking a break at any letter with fatha, dhamma, kasra, like the 3 basic symbols, right? Fatha, dhamma, kasra. Also dhammatain, right? Dhammatain is like the tanween of dhamma, right? The two curled line symbols on any letter, we will see them. And the tanween of kasra, which is kasratain. We are skipping the fathatain here, right? The tanween of fathatain we are skipping. This is like fatha, dhamma, kasra, dammatain, or kasratain. So we will make them sakin. Let's see from the example here. Okay, so yes, you see this word here, right here, this ayah number 4. So at the end of this ayah, the word is hasirun. So this word is ending at a raw letter which has this dhammatain on it, right? The symbol, like the two curl line symbols. Okay, two dhammas. So we say run here, right? But if we are, and because this is the last word of the ayah, so we will say wahuwa hasir. Why we will do this is because of this rule. Like if you're taking a break at any letter, with fatha, dhamma, kasra, dhammatain, or kasratain, then we will make it sakin, right? Let's see another example for these. For example, if we are taking a break, okay, just like a quickly. For example, if we say like, this is not a proper way to take a break here, Naya, because when you're taking a break, you will look at the meaning of the ayah. For example, if you're reading an ayah, you see that at which point a complete meaning, there a meaning of the meaning is completed. Okay, so you take a break at that word. But if you're beginners, I know you're all beginners, you keep on struggling on certain letters, at certain words. So yes, for that matter, if you are taking a break at this word and you're struggling, so this word here is fi khalqi, right? So if you have if you think that you're supposed to be taking a break here, so you can just convert this qi, because this qaf letter here has this kasra below it, so we will change that kasra into sakin here, right? We will say fi khalq, fi khalq, right? You will do it like this. Also, for example, if you're taking a break at this word, ثم ارجع البصر. Okay, so this is al-basar, al-basara. So this word, this is ending at a letter ra. Ra has fatha symbol on it. So if we take a break at such a letter which has fatha, we make that letter, sakin. So you just remember these. You just remember these and when you will practice these, you will get to remember these. Okay, so the third is, if you take a break at any word with a letter which ends with fathatain, right? So fathatain, then you change that to alif. Okay, let's see from the example here. Yes, you see this word here, tibaqan, right? So if you are taking a break here in ayah, we will say tibaqa, right? Because this word, the last letter of it, has this fathatain. Fathatain means the tanween of fatha, the two slanting lines above any letter. So we will change that into one alif sound. Like the qa, we'll say qa, qaf, and alif. Qa. You're not supposed to confuse this with alif at the end. Okay, this already has a alif, so you will just say tibaqa. We can, see any other example the tanween the tanween at the end, but not with alif. Okay, you can see that. And for that as well, we will just change that to one alif. Okay, so it's taking a bit of time to find the examples. We can do this lesson tomorrow as well, but with examples. Okay, inshallah. Okay, for example, these are all the examples here with alif. So it's very simple that if you're taking a break at any such word, for example, this qalilan, we will just change that to one alif and say qalila. Okay, we'll just do that. This is like the third way we take a break. And the fourth one is, if you're taking a break at any letter with a round ta at the end, round tha at the end, then we change that to ha sakin. Let's see the example of this. I just saw this here in Okay. So yes, this ayah number 12, this has this round ta at this word maghfiratun. Okay, maghfiratun. This word here, it is ending with the round ta here. Okay, so when we take a break at any such, we say maghfirah. We will change this round ta with a ha sakin. Okay, and say maghfirah. Okay, let's see one more time that if we take a break at any word with a round ta at the end, then we change that to ha sakin, right? We change that to ha sakin and we say maghfirah rather than maghfiratun. Okay, so I just this are like a practical demonstration, a very quick demonstration. I know that many of the sisters which are taking this course are very beginners, so inshallah we will do this with a few more examples, okay, tomorrow inshallah, so that you get to remember these rules. But inshallah we will keep on I'll keep on repeating the rules of nun sakin, tanween, and meme sakin, and this rules of waqf as well, because all of these just comes with practice. Okay, so you don't need to worry about it. I just wanted to point these rules out to you, that whenever you're reciting, it's not like you do your own you do your own thing at stopping at the words in the ayah. It's not your choice, right? So there is always the things that we do with the rules. Okay, there is always something that we need to keep in mind when you're reciting Quran. So yes, let's move on to the formal lesson for today, inshallah. Ayah number 10. Okay, ta'awuz and tasmiyah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. جيم. Sorry. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. I hope that you remember that you're supposed to keep the has prominent, right? The ha of ar-Rahman and ar-Rahim, right? You need to make your ta'awuz and tasmiyah very very good, because you keep on reciting this ta'awuz and tasmiyah. So the ar-Rahman and ar-Rahim has this ha which comes from the middle portion of our throat, right? And also the first word here, a'udhu, right? So you need to make a transition from hamza to ayn at the very start, right? In the beginning you are supposed to say a and then u, a'udhu, right? A'udhu, right? Also, you are supposed to say the dhu of a'udhu very softly. And another thing that you need to remember is the ta of shaitan, that this ta is a heavy one. So your tongue will touch the back of your upper teeth with strength, okay? Because when I was taking the feedback, or hearing the recitations that you all participated in, that they were really good. Your recitation was going very good. But what I heard is that you just many of the members, they keep reciting the ta'awuz and tasmiyah very casually. This is also a part of this Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, part of our recitation, right? So you need to make the letters and the tajweed rules proper in it as well. So I hope that everybody, they keep this in mind from the next time, inshallah, as well. So yes. وقالوا لو كنا نسمع أو نعقل ما كنا في أصحاب السعير. Okay, so this ayah was a very short ayah, right? So I could read this ayah in one go as well. So, but I took a break here at this word kunna. Why I did this is because I just wanted to tell you that how do we take a break, right? So I stopped here at this word kunna, right? So this word is ending at a letter which is already sakin, right? This alif here at kunna. So I didn't do anything here because the last letter was already sakin. So whenever we take a break at any such word which is ending with sakin, so we keep that sakin as it is. I'm just saying Ma kunna, right? So when we are supposed to take a few words back from the ayah and say ma kunna fi ashabis sa'ir. Okay. So yes, Tajweed, as for Tajweed, this ayah is starting with letter waw here. How do we articulate this letter is obviously with our two lips, but we need to remember this thing that we are supposed to shape our lips in a round form, okay? Whenever we say wa, right? Wa. And after that, qalu, wa qalu, right? So the next letter is qaf, the heavy letter, right? The full mouth letter. So this letter is articulated when the back part of our tongue it touches this soft palate with strength, right? So we say qa, qa, wa qalu. Okay, so as this is a heavy letter, so yes, when we are touching the back part of our tongue to the soft palate, we are, we're keeping that raised, right? So to make it sound heavy, wa qa, wa qalu. Okay, so also I'm stretching the qa here, qa for two counts. Why I am doing this? Because after the qa, there is alif here, right? So whenever there is alif with in a second form, and before that alif, there is fatha on the previous letter, right? This qaf here has a fatha on it. So this is alif madda. This will be called alif madda, and madda means, to elongate, that we are supposed to stretch here. So for how long we are supposed to stretch? For two counts. Okay, so we were saying qa, qa, wa qalu, lu. Okay, so this is lam letter, la, la, tip of the tongue, it touches the back part of our tongue, and we say lu, lu, right? Lu. Again, I'm stretching the sound for two counts here of lu, the double O kind of sound, oo, lu, right? Why? Because there's waw madda happening here. Waw madda means that waw is in second form, and before that, on the previous letter, there is dhamma, right? Is it waw second, and before that, there is dhamma. We call it waw madda, that we are supposed to stretch here for two counts and say lu. وَقَالُوا لَوْ كُنَّا. Okay, so I'll not say that this is, in the next word here, low. This is not a wow madda, okay? There is a sakin here on wow, but before that, there is no dhamma on the previous letter of lam, right? So this is not a wow madda. We're not stretching here for two counts and making a oo sound, right? This oo sound of loo. So we are not doing that here. We are saying low, low, right? So this is something else. For now, you just remember this waw madda, alif madda, ya madda. This is low. Okay, so why we in this letter, what we do is that waw is in second form. So we join the sound of it with the previous letter and say la, low. This lam letter has a fatha, and after that there is waw sakin. So we will say low, low kunna. Okay, so this word is kunna, kunna, right? So this kaf letter is the light letter, right? The light letter, this is not the heavy qaf, which is qaf here, right? This qaf was the heavy qaf. This kaf is the light kaf. The difference in articulation is that this qaf, the back part of the tongue, it touches the soft palate with strength, right? For this qaf, the back part of the tongue, it touches the soft as well as the hard palate. And the back part is does not we do not keep that raised. Okay, we just say kunna, law kunna, ku, kunna. Also, after kaf, there is this letter noon, right? Noon, the nasal letter. So this letter has this, this tashdid on it, right? This tashdid symbol on it. So whenever there is tashdid on noon sakin and meme sakin, right? On noon sakin or meme sakin, what do? We stay for a bit and make a nasal sound. right, which is called gunna. So we will stay like kunna, right? Kunna. So we stay for a bit on noon sound and made a nasal sound, and this is called gunna. And also, I'm not saying kunna, kunna. I'm not saying that, right? I'm stretching the sound of na again here. Kun na, right? Why again? Because of alif madda. That alif is in second form here, and before that alif there is a fatha. So there, the sound which is like a sound of two counts. Kun na, right? وقالوا لو كنا نسمع نسمع noon fatha, and then after that there is seen letter here, right? So we did a difference of seen letter and sod letter in one of the previous sessions as well, that this seen letter is a light letter, right? So this is articulated when the tip of our tongue it touches the backside of our first two, like the two above upper teeth, and as well as the two below, the first two teeth, right? So when tip of the tongue it touches at both two areas, that is how we make this st sound. St, right? So the seen letter, the air comes out of our mouth as well. Also, there is this whistle sound in seen letter. And we say nas, nas, right? Nasma'u, nasma'u. How this is a light letter, that our back part is not raised, okay? And also all of the air, it just comes out of your mouth. Nasma'u, ma'u. Okay, so this meme letter here only with the two lips, and you say ma'u, ru. At the end, there is ain letter, which is articulated from the middle portion of our throat, right? So how do we say ra or ru here specifically? That our muscles of the throat, they get tightened to say this ru, ru. Okay, you need to put some effort on your throat to say this ru. This is not oo here. Nasma oo. This is not oo, okay? We just say ru, ru. Nasma'u. Okay, so also, you're whenever there is fatha dhamma or kasra, you're not supposed to stretch the sound. You need to remember that. Where we need to stretch, I have just mentioned at all the places, right? So we are saying nasma'u, ru very quickly. Nasma'u, aw naqilu. Okay, aw, this aw we just say like low here. Where there is no waw madda happening here. We just join the hamza fatha with waw here. Why? Because this wow has the sakin on it, so that is why we're joining it with the previous letter and saying أو أو نعقل نعقل. Okay, again this is starting with the noon with fatha on it, na sound, na, na. But we are joining here with the next letter, which is ain with sakin on it, right? So whenever a ain letter is in second position, so you know what we need to make sure that we avoid qalqala here. Okay, like we're not supposed to say na, na. Okay, why? Because this we're not supposed to make an echo sound on letter ain and say na with a jerk or something like this. Okay, we're supposed to make we're supposed to just say this very, and the sound continues at the ain here, and we say na, na, right? How do we do this? Is that we stay for a bit at the articulation point of letter ain. So we all know that this ain is a letter of throat and comes, and is articulated from the middle portion of our throat, right? So at the middle portion of our throat, we will stay there for a bit. Okay, how do we stay? We say like na, like na qilu, na qilu, and that is how you will avoid that, qalqala sound. Like qalqala means that the letters on which the sound bounces back. Okay, so if you will say na, na, that will be, that will become a qalqala letter, but this ain is not from the five letters of qalqala. So we will avoid that, and we will make this sound go on at the articulation point. and say نعقل نعقل, right? أو نعقل نعقل. I hope that you will practice this and inshallah you'll get better at this as well. After that, there is letter of, when the back part of the tongue, it touches the soft palate with strength, we say qilu, qilu, naqilu, ma kunna. Okay, ma, we're stretching here, ma here for two counts. Why? Because of alif madda here, right? So, yes, you all know how we say this sound ma. Kunna. Again, this kunna is repeated here, right? We did this kunna previously as well, that there is this light cough at the start, which is articulated when the back part of the tongue, it touches the soft as well as hard palate. So we say kunna. Again, we are making a gunna at noon tashdid, right? Kunna fi. Okay, so there is letter F, like fa here. Okay, fa letter here. It is articulated when the tip of your upper teeth they touch your lower lips, right? And air comes out of your mouth when saying fa, fa, fi. Okay, fi. Okay, so there is a symbol of mud here, right? Mud means to stretch. So how long we will stretch here? Let's see the hamza coming after it. So if the mud is in one word and the hamza after it is coming in the next word, so it is our choice if we want to stretch that mud for two counts or for four counts, right? So here the mud is in one word of fi and the hamza after it. This is hamza, okay? This alif with a symbol of fatha on it is called hamza. So the hamza after it is coming in the next word of ashabu. So your choice, okay, you want to say fi ashabi, or you want to say fi ashabi, right? So I will make this for four counts. Fi ashabi sa'ir. Okay, so this hamza here with fatha, simple a sound, aus. We're joining it with sod because sod has sakin on it, right? Aus, aus. Also, this sod is a heavy letter. Okay, so we are supposed to differentiate this sound with the scene of nas. This was light letter. Sod here is a heavy one. So we will raise the back part of our tongue and say aus, aus. Also, our mouth will be full with air when we say aus. Some air will come out of our mouth and some will just stay in our mouth, okay? And we will say aushabi, aushabi. Okay, so the next letter is letter ha, which comes from the middle portion of throat. And this is like first of all, you push the air out of your throat, and at the end, you make the h sound. And you say aus ha, like ha. In this letter, the air for the first of all, you push the air, and then when the air comes out of your mouth, at the end, you make a sound of the letter ha. You can listen to it like ha, ha, right? أصحاب السعير. Okay, ba letter here, bissa. I'm joining. Why? Because this letter sin has this tashdid on it, right? So we are supposed to join this tashdid with the previous letter and say bissa, bissair. Okay, again, there is letter seen here, the light letter, right? So just the air comes out of our mouth, all of it. This is a empty mouth letter. And you say bissa, bissair. Okay, and then the next letter is again ain letter, right? With a kasra. Ri, ri, right? Bissair, rir. I'm stretching the sound here of e again. Why? Because there is ya madda happening here. Ya madda means that whenever there is ya with a sakin on it, and before that there is kasra. So let's see here, ya with sakin, and before that there is kasra, below ain letter. So we will stretch it for two counts and say gheer, Okay, at the end there is a raw letter with a kasra below it. So here raw will be kept light, and we will say bisa'ir. You can hear raw at the end. Ghair. Okay, so that is it for today. Okay.
I mean, yeah, it's from here that the verse number 10 begins. Waqalu. And you're quite familiar with the word wa, which basically is a conjunction wa, and it means and. Qalu means they said. Law, if only. Kunna, we were. Nasma'u is a word from sama'a. Sama'a means to listen, and na is a pronoun. We listen. Au is or, like neither nor or either or. So, for choice between two. Naqilu. Naqilu is from aql, Arabic word, which means reason or intellect. And nakilu has this pronoun for we, na. Only if we had rationalized or we had used our intellect, ma kunna, we were not, or we couldn't have been free amongst the ashab as-sa'ir. Ashab is the plural of sahib. Sahib word is used, in my native language, Urdu as well. Sahib means Mr. Gentleman. It is the plural form of ashab used here, which is companions. Sa'ir. Sa'ir actually is one of the names of Jahannam, hellfire. There are so many names of Jahannam used in Quran, and Sa'ir is one of them, which means the blazing hellfire. Ayah number 10 basically is the continuation of number 8 verse, where you saw that the caretaker angels of hell were asking the disbelievers. And the question they posed was, Alam ya'tikum nazir? Didn't you receive a warner? And to which they made an open confession, a public confession they made. And they said, yes, there did come a warner. And then they confessed that they refuted that warner, who basically was the prophet of their time. And they rejected the message of that warner. Okay, and then they actually, in the previous ayat, you have seen in verse number 9, you have seen that they actually labeled, they just not only refuted the messenger, rejected the message, but they actually labeled the followers, the believing people, as misguided ones. And Dalalin Kabir actually means the misguidance of, someone who has gone really very far away on the path of misguidance. So Kabir means a big misguidance. So they told that we are well guided. Actually, you are the ones who are misguided because you're following this scripture, this message from your God or from your Lord, which these people did not believe in at all. But now, the ghaib, al-ghaib, that was al-ghaib for them in their worldly life has turned out to be something real. And now they have come to realize that actually they were misguided. And now they are showing that remorse and that feeling of regret. And they are longing that they had listened. Law kunna nasma'u. Oh, we should have listened. What if we had listened and we hadn't rejected the message of the warner? Warner actually is the word, Nazir is actually the word used for the prophet, including Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because he also faced the similar sort of opposition and allegations as the previous prophets. So they would be saying at that moment, in future for us, but already done. In the book of Allah, already done. Because I told you before as well that the concept of time as created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is divided into past, present, and future for us only. This is our understanding of time. And when Allah plans, intends to do something, it is almost as perfect as it is done. So that's why everything is stated in the past tense here. So they would say at that moment that we should have listened. And now they are lamenting that why they didn't listen. And they had used their reason. Oh, naqilu. Aql means reason. They should have used their reason, and they won't have been amongst the people who were dwelling in the flames of fire now. They could possibly not be amongst these people now, but no use. It's too late now. You know, the human tragedy has already occurred, and millions and billions of them are shown their way towards the flames, the fire of hell. And there was a time when the calamity could have been prevented, when they should have paid attention to the warnings of the prophets. But it's too late now. And this is what they're lamenting here. And the keywords that we find from this verse 10 are three. Actually, there are three keywords. Nasma'u, naqilu, and then is ashabis sa'ir, which is a murakkab, or you can say that it's a phrase. Now, the word sama, which means to listen, actually is used in Quran. It has great relevance with the message of Quran. And at a number of places, this word in its various forms is being used in Quran. Because listening is something really very important. At a number of places, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, He asks, Allah is inviting the human beings that come at least listen to what the Prophet is saying. Agreeing with him, following him, practicing what he is saying is, the next stage. But at least listen to him. But these were those stubborn that they simply refused to listen to the Prophet as well. And we have instances in the Quran that sometimes they would put their fingers. Whenever the Prophet was inside, they would just put their fingers inside their ears so that they wouldn't receive a single word of advice from that Prophet. And even today, as we are involved in the teaching of Quran, mashallah, with the tawfiq of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we invite the people, we ask them that just come and listen, please. And people have their own excuses and they have their own priorities. And yes, we agree that they are busy people, but at least sometimes they can afford, few minutes to listen to what actually the person is saying. That is just possible. And sometimes it's just one word that just pricks and it just pierces through the heart of a man. And he finds his direction from there. So this nasma'u is, in a way, overemphasized throughout the Quran, and it's really very important. And in the end, it becomes one of the reasons of the failures to make it to heaven. And they're admitting it. And it's been problem of mankind ever since he has arrived on this planet. He prefers to listen what he wants to. And whatever is against his wishes and desires and his own point of view, the point of view he holds, he doesn't want to listen anything against that. And he wants to pick and choose as regards the stuff that he has to listen to, whether it's music or whether it's something else. And people believe it against their, personal freedom, that somebody should direct them, somebody should tell them that they should listen this as well. And they feel that they are being imposed. Sometimes you can't ask your own children. Sometimes even the parents are that helpless. And why you are asking them to listen? Because just out of their welfare. just out of the care, just out of your feeling of well-being for them. But they just fail to understand your real intention or niyat behind. So they would simply ignore. They can be the members of your own family. And why listening is so overemphasized in Quran? Because listening has an effect on our hearts. Such is the importance of listening. Sometimes the things you listen, it just touches your heart. And sometimes people, they don't listen so that their heart is not affected by those words. And then words have their own power. The sorcerers, the soothsayers, and such people, they are all magicians. They are all using the power of words, actually the power of sounds. Even Muhammad was accused of being a magician and someone who played with the words. And his words mesmerized the audience. So with this negative thought, the people deprive themselves of listening to the positive words of Kalam Allah, speech of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And because people avoid listening, but still they are listening lots of stuff around them, and that is wrong type of listening. That is why people have wrong judgment, because whatever they keep listening around them, it only forms wrong judgments. But even that wrong judgment, which is the result of false listening, can be rectified with naqil, with aql, with rationalization, with the use of intellect. But that also is denied. That is kind of snatching away the tawfiq of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah's ability for someone, Allah's allowance for someone to listen and then reflect upon it and then form a judgment on the basis of what he has listened. And the wrong judgment many a times of people, of man, is because of the listening that goes around him and which is wrong. And on this next stage, they fail to rectify, correct their wrong judgment using their reasoning, their intellect. Because tawfiq is already snatched by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the two basic, faculties given to man, the faculty of hearing, listening, and the faculty of rationalizing the things, lies there and not used in a positive way. Although these two faculties are used, but not in a way that would, save the human beings in the end. They do rationalize the things, but as an evil genius in a negative way. Because the people who oppose the prophets and who oppose the scripture, they have their piles of arguments. And to some people, those arguments are based on reason as well. They also have made their own researches. And they may appear to be very successful in this worldly, life sometimes. But what Quran says that in the end, they would lament, they would show remorse, regret. What if we had listened at that moment? And we had rationalized the things? We would not be amongst these companions of the blazing fire. Because, the devil and the nafs, which basically is the other name of human desires, it blindfolds the human beings. It blindfolds to the degree where they fail to, make a positive use of these two learning tools, basically. These two tools which help you form a judgment. And it is because of not using sam'a and not using aql, not using the listening faculty and not using their intellect. They finally land themselves in trouble. And they are amongst those ashab as-sa'ir, the company of gentlemen. All of them are burning in the hellfire now. Because ashab sahib is a word of honor, it's a title of honor. And all these honorable men, gentlemen, they would be together in burning because they held a similar opinion. They were together in their opposition of the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in their opposition of the Nazir of their time, whosoever it was, whatever was the name of the prophet who came to them. So before it is too late, every single human being should at least be given a chance, or he should be invited to listen to the Kalamullah. And maybe just one word of this speech of Allah pierces through the heart of the person, and he finds his right direction in the world. Otherwise, this is what which is going to happen, and we believe in the words of Quran that this is definitely going to happen. So this was the brief explanation of this verse 10.